I'm the worst.
Overreact much?
That puberty alarm has gone
Let
off.
the professional handle this.
She's a teenager.
I'm too gross to go anywhere ever again. Well, that's a preview of the next 10 years.
I was thinking, was there anything from the first film that made obstacles for the second film?
People think sequels are easier, but you're always up against the rules you create in the first movie. I think particularly that issue is explained in the movie, mostly just because, there are plenty of emotions that are not as present as they are, during that age, and they are in the waiting room and they're around. They weren't, absent during the earlier years. They just weren't as active. And then, of course, as we know, parents don't have anxiety, so it's easy to write around that.
But we had to earn it. We had to earn with Pete Doctor, who's our executive producer and the original creator. We had to earn with him bringing in new emotions. That wasn't just a given. It was at first, I think he was a little bit like, well, where have they been? Like you had to really talk to him about where were they? How much access did they have? Why are they coming on now? Who are they? Because we had a lot to start because we really wanted it to be overwhelming. And we had to really, it was the producer, another EP, Jonas Goodman, who was like, I think it's too many. So it was really about this. And in one of the earlier versions, we went to the waiting room, which was super fun to see all the other emotions down there. And you really had to follow the rules of the world to put in anything. And there were days that I was like, who the hell came up with this rule? I hate them. It's so hard. And then I was like, that's right. It was me.
There's a rule there are so many rules I encountered that I didn't know about, there was a rule about someone always has to be on dream duty, and then we were like, what if we abandon that rule? Like what if we make a new rule that supersedes the first rule, and
which you can do because she's changing, which is helpful, right?
Absolutely.
For a sequel, that's very helpful.
It's very helpful.
Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, I am just such a huge fan of yours, and now here I am meeting you face to face. Okay, how can I help?
Okay, love that. And what was your name again?
Oh, I'm sorry, I can get ahead of myself. I'm anxiety. I'm one of Riley's new emotions, and we are just super jazzed to be here. Where can I put my stuff?
What do you mean, we?
You're limited in terms of the mind, right? And so you have to battle geography, you have to battle repetition, you have to battle, it's your second time through this equation, this formula, but you have to escalate it, and you have to find a more satisfying way through it. And once you've been through the jungle once, it's like, well, you want to find the quickest path through, and now you have the second time to walk through it and
take us new places. People are going to want to go new places. So what are the new places? And there were plenty of that were fun that just didn't make the cut, like Procrastination Land and other places.
Puberty Park. Man, Puberty Park was funny. Yeah.
Yeah, Puberty Park and where facts and opinions are made.
Right.
But they had to be part of Riley's story. They had to affect Joy's, because that's the other thing you're having to do. You're going back to a place we've been, and Joy has been, but now it has to be different for her. That this isn't just like Dave said, retreading for Joy's character either. Like, how is this, even if she's walking through the long-term memory, how is it different this time, right? In terms of who she is now, because she's also evolving, right, as a character. It's time has passed. And how is this journey shifting her and making her look at herself or at Riley or whatever it is you need to be doing it.
Was there anything between 1 and 2, like in terms of listening to actual children? Because this movie's so famous for like teaching children how their feelings work a little bit.
Well, we did have Riley's Crew, which was a group of teenage girls, either, 13 and a little bit above, because they were close enough to 13 to remember. And that was very, very helpful. And they were very, very smart, and they took it very, very seriously. And they had notes, and they would show up with their notebook. And, you were kind of like, God, I wish everybody would watch a movie and give you notes like this intensely and care so much. And then in terms of research, it's interesting. People ask this question of me all the time in terms of how do you write animation for children? And that is not my experience at Pixar. Nobody ever says to you, well, how will the kids get this? It's really about what you get as a human being. And yes, there's super fun in there for younger ages, slapstick and super fun. But that's honestly because we like it too. Like, that's not like stuff we don't like. We like the slapstick. So in terms of research, we're researching the human being in different stages and what's happening when you're 13. We had amazing experts coming in and talking to us about anxiety and girls specifically this age. But I did not, and Dave, I would be interested to hear if you did. You just don't think about that. You're really trying to find a great story about the human condition, and kids are human, and everybody's human. Like, it doesn't matter it shouldn't matter nationality, it shouldn't matter age. You should relate to it because it feels like what it feels like to be human.
There's a
And I don't
lot
know,
of
Dave, did you ever think about that?
I mean, I never thought about writing anything for kids. I think that there are a lot of parents in that building at Pixar, and a lot of parents on the senior level of this movie, and I think that we're always looking at the emotions as sort of parents to Riley, and caretakers. And that's the most emotional way that I can see, their stories, that Joy is there to take care of Riley, and that anything she does wrong to hurt Riley is the equivalent of a parent hurting their child, and I think that when you see this movie, what I'm very proud of is the way it connects on two eye lines, for parents and for kids. It's certainly like you said, these movies are a wonderful way for kids to be able to talk about their emotions, to put a face and a name to their emotions, which makes it easier to talk about their emotions. But it's also just a great story about, the pain and joy of watching your kid change and grow, and there's nothing more emotional than that.
Don't look, it's fine. This is for all those memories that belong in the back of the mind. Like this penalty one. It's weighing on her, so let's lighten the load. A one-way expressway to, we're not gonna think about that right now. Woo! That's pretty impressive.
You take such good care of Riley.
Thanks, I try.